Are there aspects to your day that you feel as if you're just, well, checking the box? Do you ever strive to reach out of your comfort zone, become uncomfortable, and level up? Privileged to be your host, this is Jason Wabick. Now, let's uncheck the box. A great day to everybody out there. Once again, my name is Jason Wabick, host of the Uncheck the Box podcast, where today we continue our journey together and to be the best versions of ourselves that we can possibly be. I said last week that today was going to be a little bit special, and I'm delivering on that and wanted to come to you as I'm recording this on assignment out in the gorgeous state of Delaware, actually. So I took this on the road where I got together with some of my college friends for a wedding. And today we're talking about the value of friendships and solid relationships in our life and how that can help us, again, be the best versions of ourselves and move us forward, right? And I've got my friend Charlie Fisher joining me today. And you know what we're going to do? We're just going to have a conversation. I joked with Charlie. I said, why don't we just do a podcast together? I'll bring all my gear and we're just going to talk. Sometimes we talk. It's about like an hour, sometimes long, and the time goes by, and we're like, "Holy cow!" So, that comes natural to us. We could just talk about just life, and we get so much out of our conversations. And I think it's perfect for today's topic, right? So, I'll introduce Charlie, my friend. This is my first official guest ever. Not like I've got this like Joe Rogan audience out there, but hey, listen, I know somebody's listening to this saying, you know what? You're right. I've got a good friend, right? And how valuable that is, right? So I appreciate you being here. I have a little bit of a template. So I looked up the definition of friendship, and it said the definition of a true friendship is someone that has your back, no matter what. They watch out for you. They ensure that you are not in danger. They will never purposely lead you into making decisions that aren't good for you. And a true friendship will always have your best interest at heart. And then I took it further. I looked at the definition of family, and it's the basic unit in society traditionally considered consisting of two parents rearing their children. But, sometimes I feel like friendship, can go non-biological, right? And friendship comes very close to family, right? So I always appreciate you. You've always got my back, right? And sometimes we hold each other accountable, right? Isn't that so true, right? To make sure that we don't go into danger, right? And so at least you've always pushed me, and we've even had conversations here this weekend, right, Charlie?
Yeah, absolutely, Jason. We've we've been pretty fortunate, I feel like, through all of our friendship to, be able to run ideas, thoughts that we're having. I think that's the most valuable thing about our friendship. I mean, there's lots of valuable things about our friendship, but I would say the fact that we can put ourselves in a space of being honest and getting honest feedback and knowing that we're going to get the truth from each other. And I think that's where, when you look at your friends and you look at your family always has your best interest at heart and may always tell you maybe more what they want, but your friends are always going to give you, your true friends will give you the truth.
Well, you would hope so. I mean, I guess, they don't always have to give you the truth, right? But I feel like if we've got a good friend, right, that, accountability is key, and you don't want your friend, or if you are in a position where you're a friend for somebody, I don't think you are doing them any service if you're just agreeing with them, right? And just being a yes person, right? So like we've had conversations this weekend about things that are going on in our lives. And I know that Charlie has given me a certain situation that he's involved with right now that I've challenged that thought process on the other side and say, but look at it from the other perspective, right? So you think you're leaning this way to make a decision, but look at it from this other side, right?
Well, there's also levels of friendship, right? So our friendship is at a level where when I come to you with something and I'm sharing what's happening with me, I know that you're going to give me that feedback. We're at a place, when we've been friends since we were 18 years old, 19 years old, that we've seen each other grow, through getting married, through having our children, through different things. And really, again, going back to being like, hey, look, I'm dealing with this right now. Have you dealt with this before? And you dealt with a lot of things before I ever dealt with any of this stuff, getting married, having kids, and you were right there for me when I was going through some of the same process that you had already been through.
Absolutely. And that's why it's a two-way street, because not only do we benefit by having people in our lives that can hold us accountable, but then you've got to be that person to somebody else, right? Pay it forward, right? And the more we can have those relationships in our lives, it'll only push us to be better, and even our friend, so we're here for a wedding, and our friend who's getting married, we just got done with a workout this morning, and he joined us because why? Because he was motivated to say, you know what, I see these guys working out, and now I'm motivated and inspired to do that, right? So that's what even friendship is there to do, is it's yes, to push ourselves, but to inspire change, to inspire growth, to just, again, to push our friends to be the best versions of them and to get the most out of them, right?
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, I think, again, when you think of your circle, right, and the 5 people that you spend the most time with, that's the old saying that you tend to, become more, you're the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And that's where I value our conversations, because you don't always have to be in physical form to be spending time with someone. You and I spend time on the phone. We spend time communicating via text. But then that sort of like push, that challenge to level up that you talk about being here on the podcast, I mean, that's really it. When I think, oh, you know what, Jason's working out today. Did I work out today? Or am I going to? I get a text at 5:30 in the morning. Buddy, I've already gotten it in. And I'm sitting here thinking, well, I'm about to.
Or even as simple as that we're friends. I don't know if he gets the alerts anymore, but we're friends on the the whole Apple Watch thing, and I'll get up and I'll see Charlie had a workout in, or he'll see that Jason got a workout in, right? So yeah, even it's just pushing even from that perspective, because unfortunately, being 11 hours, we don't see as much as of each other as we would like to, right? But let's talk about this. To have a very good friend, you gotta be open and vulnerable, right? I like that word. And Charlie, when he texted me, he used that word vulnerability, because to some degree, you got to put yourself out there. And, there are certain situations, especially in relationships, and Charlie and I know about this, right? That sometimes people are not who they seem, right? And they could disappoint you, right? You think you know somebody, and then all of a sudden they come out, they're a little bit different, right? But if you put yourself out there, it's because you care, right? So, the people that never call on friends, right? They felt that they have to be self-sufficient. It makes them stronger. A wise man is self-sufficient, right? That's the mindset. It's like, you know what? It's I got to do this on my own. But to become vulnerable, it's like, no, I'm going to rely on my friends to help me through this journey, right? And I feel like if we've got that one or two, solid relationships, that it will help us take us to the next level. I know it has for me anyway.
Jason, I feel like we're all going through life, and we're all, facing similar situations, whether it's personally, professionally. And I think that's where, when you put yourself in a vulnerable spot, you open yourself up, but then allow the other person to say, you know what, I can identify with this, and let me share what I'm going through too. So it creates that two-way conversation, because most people, as you just said, whether it's social media or some other platform, they're trying to paint this most perfect picture of themselves versus, hey, you know what, like, I'm working really hard to get better, but I still have these other things that I'm dealing with, and I want to get better in those areas too. Are you experiencing anything similar? And when you have that dialogue, it definitely opens up for improvement. And yeah, you know what? Even like mentally, you start to feel like, I'm not alone. I'm not the only person feeling this way.
Well, it's because then we get that love and support that we long for. Vulnerability puts us out there to possibly get hurt. True statement, right?
100%.
And that's the tough part. Just like any other relationship, you got to put yourself out there. There's the potential of getting hurt or to be disappointed. But on the other side, that what you do gain is that long-lasting relationship and that love and that support that, quite frankly, that we need and to some degree that we crave. So, yeah, everybody, it's about putting yourself out there and also being open to those relationships that you can impact other people, right? We can't have 50 very close friends, nor is that recommended because we just don't have the time to put, right? But if you've got that solid one or two relationships that people, that rely on you and you can rely on them, boy, there is so much to gain from that, right?
Well, and sometimes, Jason, sometimes, you're a better friend to me than I am to you, and there's times where I'm a better friend to you than you are to me, and it's that balance and being aware that as we go through this, friendship, throughout our lives, that there's going to be times where I'm carrying a little bit more load, or that you're carrying a little bit more load, or putting more effort into maintaining and sustaining this friendship.
So things that can happen when you become vulnerable. Being vulnerable shows your friends that you care more about connecting than you do about showing off. That you trust them enough to let your guard down and value their insight enough to allow them to be there for you. Vulnerability empowers your friends to encourage you, and I think that really just sums it up right there, right? You let your guard down. They know that you trust them, and so many things can start right there alone, right? And when you start forming that friendship and that relationship, Charlie just inspires me every single day. And I know I do the same back to him, but I wouldn't be the person I would be today without this guy. And, we struggle every single day. We have shortcomings, but we push each other. And, there's things that I've done because he's pushed me. I think from a physical aspect, right, he is in phenomenal shape, and that inspired me to follow that same path, right? And even the last 3 days, he's like, oh, come on, we got to get that workout in. We got to get that workout in. Even we were up late at night, it's like, nope, up, we got to get that workout in, right?
We've had that experience, but, Jason, the same way from a physical aspect, I would say that you've always inspired me with faith. And I think about, I was always like, you know what? Our friendship really was founded on the fact that we both share the same faith. And so we started going to church together, and then it just formed from there. That was a foundation. And boy, I'll tell you that. But then all the other ways, your attitude is always so positive. It's infectious. Even last night, as we're coming back from a rehearsal dinner, and I'm getting frustrated, the low tire pressure light comes on my car. And I'm like, gosh darn it. This, of all times that this has to happen. And Jason looks at me and he goes, dude, relax. You're blowing this a little out of proportion.
He gets out of the car. He goes, my tire's flat. And I get out. I'm like, oh, great. Now what are we going to do? We're in the middle of nowhere on a farm, 20 minutes from civilization. That's been the whole thing all weekend. I'm like, how are we going to fix a flat in the middle of nowhere? I get out. I go look at the tire. I said, dude, this thing's not flat. It's like he almost saw something that, he didn't see just because he was just, at a moment of, frustration, right? I'm like, dude, it's not flat.
No, but that's the part too of leveling up and helping me gain that perspective of, again, taking it back. And you have done this as long as I've known you. So that's where you inspire me. And then, obviously the physical shape that you're in is inspiring too, man. You've really, not that you ever really needed to transform, you've always been a great athlete, but what you've done for yourself, is inspiring.
Again, everything that we've talked about in previous episodes, when you set yourself to a mindset of routine, discipline, and you're going to achieve certain goals, having those solid friendships are going to be things that are going to help you in that process. It's going to be tough to do alone, everybody. We can't do it alone, right? And you learn who your true friends are, and you certainly can't pretend around these people. And it invites people to become more open, a sense of being closer. Close bonds are extremely important. And again, we can't do this unless we become vulnerable. But everybody, it's so important to have those people. So I ask of you, go back into your day, into your life. Who are you close with? And ask yourself, when was the last time I reached out to that person? Sometimes, do we take each other for granted? That can happen, right, Charlie? We've got pockets in our life that we'll go times in which we talk multiple times a week, and then we'll go times in which there's a dry spell, right? But maybe we fall into that complacency in our relationship, that distance. We say, we're just so busy. We just got to remind ourselves, but we get back on it, right? And there's days that we get back on multiple times a week, right? We're there for each other, so that can happen. So I just challenge everybody, go back. Who inspires you? Who do you inspire? And when was the last time you reached out to them, see how they're doing, right?
Sometimes all it takes is a text. I mean, in today's world of easy communication, I mean, you're looking at your phone 10 times an hour. Send a 3-word text.
I appreciate you, right? Or
I care about
thinking
you.
about you, right? Hey, did you get that workout in, right? Accountability. So if you know that, you're holding somebody accountable, check in with them, right? Or if you want to, focus on a certain goal and changing an aspect of your life where you want to level up, call your friend and say, can you hold me accountable? Check in with me. Do me a favor. Just check in with me. Be that person, right? And yeah, it's so powerful. Absolutely so powerful. Speaking of challenges, I already mentioned one, time is a challenge, right? And we use time as an excuse in many different things in our life. We have to be intentional about this, right? This is an intentional thing, especially with you and I, because there's a distance. We have to be intentional. It's not going to be like we just see each other every single day at work like our coworkers do, but it's different than a coworker. So Charlie and I obviously have to be intentional about this friendship and this accountability. Otherwise, it could slip away on us, right? And we've had people in the past that's happened, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and again, there is effort. Being a friend. Being a friend takes both sides of it. Obviously being there when somebody needs the ear, or somebody just wants to talk or just wants to say hello, and then also putting yourself out there. And I think too, as you go down this path of friendship, it's not like you need to show up, Jason. I don't pour every single thing out to you every time we talk. Sometimes there's not even really a rough patch to even share. It's just checking in and saying hello. But it's the fact that you build that bridge, you build that level of trust, that when I do need you and I have something heavy that I'm carrying, that I can share it with you. And I know that, A, you're going to listen, you're going to give it some real thought, and you're going to,
give it back to you.
That's right. Well, give me perspective. You always have great perspective.
I could say, as much as obviously we love each other as brothers, we're not easy on each other.
Not even close.
Right?
Harder.
And absolutely. But I think we owe that to each other. Like I said, like I truly believe that. I know I already said it, but it's worth mentioning again. Charlie doesn't deserve just somebody to just say yes to him. He's asked me to be his friend. Why? Because he knows I'm going to challenge him. And I'm going to not that I believe that my opinion is right, but I'll oppose the opposite side. So we're always making sure that we look at both sides of everything.
It's not even for the sake of like challenging me just to challenge me. You challenge me because you care about me. That's it. And that's the same way that I challenge you too. It's because I care about you. And it's like, you have all these other amazing things, and I know, or at least you share what you want to be in life and what you want to grow into and what you want to keep developing and what your goals and aspirations. And so knowing those things about you allows me to say, Jason, hey, if this is where you want to go, well then what's it going to take? Are you looking at it from this perspective? Are you doing these things to get to where you want to go? Would you rather be stale or content? And do you want to be stale and content more than you want to get to the next level and level up? And I think that's where it's that whole kind of give and take. It's like, which do you want more? And that's sometimes all you have to ask the question. Do you want to be stale and content? Or which one do you want more?
And it's not that I don't want that, right? But it's the reminder, hey, listen, are you getting complacent here, right? Because Charlie knows that I'm not going to, but if he senses a feeling that I've reverted back into that, then it's just a reminder, that's all.
Well, I go back to, you can do anything in life, but you can't do everything. So it's setting the priorities too. So when I know that health, work, life, family these are your main priorities, right? So then when we're trying to fit in all these other elements, it's just a reminder of, okay, so is what you're doing aligning with your true priorities in life?
Another challenge is fear, right? Sometimes to put ourselves out there, we have this fear of being judged, fear of shame. Being vulnerable means, will they like me? And then who initiates? Now, again, Charlie and I have known each other for it's been 20 plus years now, right? So it comes easy now. And we're so blessed to have that. And I hope that everybody out there has that one or two people, right? But, initially to start that relationship, there's some fear there. And so I guess my challenge is anything that gets in the way, whether it's time or fear or whatever, take that step. If you have that person that you can hold accountable, that can hold you accountable, then great, then roll with it, right? But if you're looking for that relationship, put yourself out there, because it's so worth it, and it so can help your journey. It so can help you. It's it's just a powerful thing. And again, sometimes we take it for granted, but at the end of the day, we know each other, we know who we are, and it's just so crucial in life,
I was going to say, Jason, I mean, a lot of our experiences together, I mean, especially through those growing periods, right? Like, you've seen me, I don't want to say embarrassing moments, but you've seen me in moments maybe I'm not necessarily, like, I wasn't my best, right? And so in those times, it's a matter of saying, okay, well, you know what? Like, get over yourself, Charlie, and, like, everybody has their low moments. And so, hey, Jason's seen me in my low moments in this realm. Well, you know what? It's okay. I can share with him some other low moments, or what I'm struggling with right now. And you know what? He got through the other stuff with me. He's going to help me get through these times too, or at least be there for me.
Keyword being help there, right? We got to help each other, everybody. This journey is not a single journey, like one person journey. And if it is, it's a long road to hoe. If you're trying to do this alone, it is a very tough thing to do alone. We need these solid relationships. We need these friendships in order to really, again, take our life to that next level. And if you are blessed enough like I am to have that already, then you're on your way. So again, the purpose of today was just to talk about how important friendships are. And again, it's a two-way street. You're that person to somebody else, and that somebody else is that person for you. So value those friendships, nurture those friendships, and push those people. And I hope they're pushing you back, because if you can do that, and they do that back in return to you, it's just going to help you take yourself to that next level, like we talked about. So that was my challenge today. Just go back, take a look at your life. Who can you inspire? If you're still searching out there, put yourself out there. That person's out there, and that person's willing to help you. So, anything else?
No, Jason, just thank you. Thanks for being my friend.
I appreciate you. Thank you for being my friend, obviously, and thank you for. We're on a porch out here. It's absolutely beautiful. We're looking out into farm, and nice, partially cloudy, day. It's just absolutely gorgeous out here. Yeah. So, my first on assignment podcast, my first guest. And of course, I would not have it any other way, right? So
honored to be your guest.
Jeez. Honored to be your guest, yeah. Well, listen, everybody, I appreciate you. I say it every single week. I like to throw that gratitude out there, because I really do mean that. I appreciate this platform to allow us to come together every week. And listen, have a great rest of your day, a phenomenal rest of your week, and I'll see you back here, same time, same place, in a handful of days, where we continue, again, this journey together. So, again, I appreciate everybody, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.